So it's only taken about 3 years, but finally I'm driving the Audi A6. You will recall that I did a review on the S6 last year. It's just taken me a bit longer to get this model, which I'm quite thrilled about because it's the more affordable of the model range. I mean, I say affordable, it's still going to cost you around 920,000 Rand for the basic model. This test unit, for example, is over $1 million, because you're looking at things like a sports package, which is going to cost you around 29,000 Rand, and then you've got a comfort package, which is going to cost you around 25,000 Rand. What is happening? Oh my God, sorry. And then if you want a heads-up display, you're looking at like 30,000 Rand. So all the extras are going to cost you a lot more, so tick wisely, I say. Up in the clouds. But bearing in mind that this model as standard or whatever is cheaper than its rivals. So if you look at sort of the 5 Series or the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, you know, they offer something a little bit different. And that's what I find with this sort of German trio in the executive sedan. Yes, that's what I meant. Class. And I said this about the A4 as well, but I find like the Audi always to be that sort of perfect in-betweener, the sort of Goldilocks of the trio, because it doesn't offer maybe as much dynamism. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean, eh? And maybe like on the E-Class side, you've got like far more sort of luxury, but it doesn't mean that doesn't offer both of those, because it does. It kind of has this balance, and then is very sort of up there in terms of comfort and tech, and still luxury and everything. I mean, look, it's more modest maybe. This has got a 2-litre turbo diesel engine. It's got 140 kilowatts of power and 400 newton meters of torque, which I think is perfectly sufficient. And I can tell you that cruising on the highway in this car is quite glorious. And then you're looking at a fuel consumption of just 5.2 litres per 100 k's, which is hella impressive. So my fuel consumption is quite a bit higher than that, but I've been around town, I'm stopping and starting, up hills, down hills, and like that. But yeah, so I don't know how achievable that is. Maybe when you're cruising on the highway, then you can get closer to that mark. But it is, of course, a segment that is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller because people want SUVs. And I understand that completely, but don't discount this, because the space in here is fantastic. The boot is enormous and it's deep and goes down like, oh, and I do love it. But I understand the appeal of the SUV because you sit higher, because it feels just a little bit more practical than a sort of sedan. But again, it's always going to come down to needs and what it is you want and how you want to drive, because an SUV sort of doesn't, I don't feel, give you as much of a luxury cruise feel as something like this would. I mean, there's a few little nitpicky areas here for me. I don't know if it's just feeling a little bit tired, but again, I think that's just me nitpicking. But other than that, like, I thoroughly enjoy driving this car on the highway, and would be happy to cruise in it on holiday. So look, I realized that like this review is probably a little bit like bland and a bit boring, but I think that kind of sums up the A6 a little bit. As much as I don't mean that as a negative. It's just like a very sort of plain. It's just plain. But it does everything you need it to do, and it's got everything you want it to have, and all that. So maybe you just like me. I'm quite a boring person. You know. That's a lie. I'm full of fun. I'm a hoot.